Hey, everyone. So, you've probably heard a lot about the drama between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. But what if I told you that there's something Johnny Depp just said that's going to completely change how you see this whole situation? Yeah, you heard that right. I mean, we've all seen the headlines, the courtroom footage, and the media frenzy surrounding their relationship. It's hard to avoid. But Johnny just shared something recently that none of us expected. It's real, it's raw, and it's about time we took a deeper look at what's really been going on behind the scenes. So, let me take you back a little. Johnny Depp, one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, known for his roles in movies like Pirates of the Caribbean and Edward Scissorhands, has always been a bit of an enigma. He's private, a little mysterious, and never really gives away too much about his personal life. But recently, he opened up about the part of his life that's been all over the tabloids for years. The relationship with Amber Heard. And let me tell you, what he said, well, it's not exactly what you might expect. Johnny's words were not the kind of sensational claims we've come to expect from celebrity drama. It wasn't about slinging mud or getting revenge. It was about the truth, his truth, and what he learned through all of it. For so long, the media has painted a picture of a toxic, complicated relationship, but hearing Johnny speak about it on his terms changes everything. Now, let's think about how we've viewed Johnny and Amber for the past few years. We've all heard the stories, the accusations, the public fallout, and of course, the infamous courtroom drama that kept the world watching. The media did what it does best, creating a narrative. It was almost like a soap opera playing out in real time, and we, the audience, were glued to the screen, wondering who would come out on top. But as with any story, there's always more than meets the eye. For a long time, Johnny didn't speak publicly about what was happening behind closed doors. He kept quiet, letting the legal battles play out in the courtrooms while the media kept spinning the narrative. But recently, he broke his silence. And the things he revealed were eye-opening. He shared how the whole situation had affected him on a personal level. Johnny, despite his fame and fortune, is still a human being, a person with emotions, feelings, and vulnerabilities. He admitted that everything that happened between him and Amber took a huge toll on his mental health. Imagine being in a relationship where everything is being scrutinized by the world. Every argument, every disagreement, was being broadcast for everyone to see. The stress, the emotional weight, it was unbearable. But here's where it gets interesting. Johnny didn't just talk about the negative aspects of the relationship. He also reflected on the good moments, the love they once shared. This is what people don't always understand: relationships, even the most toxic ones, don't start that way. There was once a connection, a bond that brought them together. And Johnny spoke about that. He shared how, in the beginning, there were good times, love, and the hope that things could work out. But as we all know, things changed, and those good moments became overshadowed by the chaos that followed. The interesting thing is that Johnny didn't point fingers. He didn't just blame Amber for everything that went wrong. He took responsibility for his part in it, too. That's rare in situations like this, where the media loves to pit people against each other. Johnny, however, didn't let the drama define him. Instead, he acknowledged the flaws in the relationship, the things that went wrong, and how he contributed to that. It's refreshing to hear someone take ownership like that, especially in a world where blame is so often placed on others. And then there's the courtroom. If you've watched any of the trials or seen the headlines, you know that things got pretty messy. But Johnny didn't shy away from talking about what that experience was like. The media portrayal of the trials was intense, to say the least. It seemed like every day there was something new being reported, and Johnny's image was getting torn apart. But what we didn't see in the public eye was the emotional toll it took on him. He spoke about how draining it was to constantly have to defend himself, not just in the courtroom but in the eyes of the world. Every word, every action was under a microscope. Johnny said something really powerful during one of his interviews: the trials weren't just about clearing his name. They were about reclaiming his life, his identity. For so long, his reputation had been damaged by the media, and he had to find a way to rebuild that. But it wasn't just about proving he was innocent, it was about rediscovering who he was after all the chaos. And that's something a lot of people miss when they look at high-profile legal battles. They're not just about right or wrong. They're about the personal journey that comes with it. But here's the kicker, Johnny didn't dwell on anger or bitterness. Instead, he focused on moving forward. He talked about how, despite everything, he had to forgive, not just Amber but also himself. Forgiveness is a big theme in Johnny's recent reflections, and it's something he shared as a key part of his healing process. Let's face it, holding on to anger is exhausting. It's easy to stay angry, to point fingers, to blame others for what went wrong. But Johnny realized that in order to heal, he had to let go of all that resentment. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary for his growth. So, what did Johnny do to heal? Well, it wasn't an overnight process, and he made it clear that it wasn't easy. It was a journey, a long, difficult, emotional journey. But through it all, Johnny found solace in something he's always loved, music. Now, this might surprise you, but Johnny Depp is more than just an actor. He's also a talented musician. And during this time of personal turmoil, Johnny turned to music as a way to express his emotions and cope with everything that was happening. He wasn't just fighting battles in the courtroom, he was battling his own inner demons, too. Music became a form of therapy for him. It gave him a way to channel his emotions, his pain, and his anger. And it worked. Johnny shared how playing his guitar, writing songs, and being part of his band helped him process everything. It gave him a way to escape, even if just for a little while, from the overwhelming stress of his life. Sometimes, when life gets too much, we all need that outlet, whether it's art, music, writing, or something else that brings us peace. And then, there's the importance of family. Johnny spoke about how his family, especially his kids, were his rock throughout all of this. He said that having their support made all the difference in his healing process. It wasn't just about the legal battles, it was about finding comfort in the people who love you the most. And that's something that resonated with me. Sometimes, in the chaos of life, it's easy to forget how important our loved ones are. Johnny was lucky enough to have that support, and it made all the difference. But there's something else here, Johnny's ability to forgive. And I don't mean just forgiving Amber. He had to forgive himself, too. He had to let go of the guilt and the shame that came with everything. It's not an easy thing to do, but Johnny realized that in order to move forward, he had to stop punishing himself for the past. He had to accept that he couldn't change what had happened, but he could control how he moved forward. And that's really what this is all about, moving forward. Johnny Depp's journey wasn't just about clearing his name or fixing his public image. It was about rebuilding his life after everything that happened. It was about learning from his mistakes, growing from the experience, and finding peace within himself. And that's a powerful lesson for all of us. But here's the real question, what's next for Johnny Depp? Well, despite everything he's gone through, Johnny's not done. He's not ready to give up on his career, his music, or his passion. In fact, he's embracing his next chapter with a renewed sense of purpose. He's focusing on what matters most to him, his art, his family, and his own personal growth. And that's something we can all take inspiration from. No matter how hard life gets, there's always a way forward. There's always a chance to rebuild, to heal, and to start fresh. So, what can we learn from all of this? First, never judge someone's relationship or personal struggles from the outside. We don't know what they're going through behind closed doors. Second, healing is a process, it takes time, patience, and a whole lot of self-reflection. And lastly, forgiveness and growth are key. Holding on to grudges only keeps us stuck in the past, and moving forward requires us to let go. Johnny Depp's story is more than just a Hollywood drama, it's a powerful reminder that even the biggest stars have to face their demons. But it's also a story of resilience, growth, and the power of personal reflection. It's about finding the strength to rise above the chaos and come out stronger on the other side. And who knows? Maybe Johnny's next chapter is going to be even more exciting than we could ever imagine. But what do you think? After hearing Johnny Depp's side of the story, does it change how you feel about him? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. And hey, if you're interested in more behind-the-scenes stories from your favorite celebrities, be sure to check out our other videos. There's always something new and interesting to discover. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing content. I'll catch you in the next one.